Okay, so now that I've had a lot of time, it's shelter in place. I decided to follow up on a Beverly project that I've been thinking about for a while. Remember on the TV screen that we had that showed the cameras, there was one empty box in there because we only had 3 cameras working. So I decided to try and figure out how to fill that in. And I thought, well, why don't we put a map of Burning Man there? And there's this guy who publishes a GPS map every year right before the event that shows all the placements of the bathrooms and the first aid kits and the ranger stations and also all the art. And so what I did is just ended up rendering it and putting it up on the screen so that we can use it. And then if you see right here, that little red guy is our actual location, Beverly's location as it's moving through the playa. And then also the little line behind it is the track. So it's recording where we've gone through the night, and you can take an opportunity to draw whatever you want of yourself with that. But the way that we did this is Elan and I created these little boards that we populated with a GPS unit, radio, and a couple of other things to help us do this. And the nice thing about the GPS unit, it also has the heading in it. So as I twist this around, you can see that Beverly will also rotate too. And it tracks, and I'm just simulating us driving through the desert here. Also, what we have in here is a little temperature unit, and on the upper left, what you see is little dials that will represent the accumulator pressure, the temperature of the water bath, and then also some information about the computer. So I have this little temperature sensor that we would dip into the water bath, and what I'm gonna do is just put it into an ice bucket now, and then we'll check back on that a little bit later. And also what we have is this little pressure sensor, which is gonna measure the pressure in the accumulator so that we can see what happens when things get poofed. And I ended up hooking that up to a bike pump. And so as I press the bike pump, you'll be able to see the left gauge change so that it shows us in real time what the pressure is. And then one of the things that we can do with this is also try and figure out when poofs are happening. And when I do the bike pump again, it automatically detects that a poof has happened and gives us a little bit of an indication. But then we can count how many poofs and then how long things have been open, and so we can measure a little bit about how our propane usage is going. Then this all started because we wanted to also see if we can automate the dial. And so here's a little motor, another computer that would be mounted in the back of the car that would respond to the pressure in the accumulator. So I'm gonna go ahead and do it again. And you can see how it reacts. So each of these, one on the right and one on the left, would then show the current pressure in the tanks. And the other nice thing is that we also have a way of remotely monitoring the metrics that are being broadcast by the system. So it'll tell us our position, heading, the bath water temp, which right now you can see it went from 70 something down to 44 because we stuck it into the ice bath. And then the number of poofs, how many seconds we've been poofing for, and then it also gives you a real-time visualization of the pressure in the tank, which is kind of nice. And then you can also use that to, let's see if we can do this way, yeah. Control it on your own using the dial, so you can play around with it while you're standing around it. So obviously, a couple little, it's working, but there are little things that I need to play around with to improve it. But next year, right? This is the idea for this year, but we have more time to play around with it. All right.